TV on air. We are now live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. In the previous episode, we began the trial. We interrogated, or not really, we cross-examined Angel Star, what she thought she saw, but now she has to give us a more accurate testimony. So, if you're happy with this episode, make sure that like button support scroll, you appreciate it. My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Really now? Alrighty then. Angel's deduction. Get some water before we get started. Lana Sky intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else would drive that human machine on the plunge the knife in again and again. Again and again? That's how it works.
The victim was summoned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. It does sound like a lot like premeditation, doesn't it?
So if I order pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy?
In any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness. I just want to do this just to show the bottom screen, but okay. Can we please? That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. Give me the autopsy report. One knife wound. Never mind. Let's just press on. I knew it! I'm wasting my time. I knew I was wasting my time on this. Okay, let's just... Because you're just only getting a story, but... You're just only getting a story out of this. I knew it. Because, like, literally, I knew this was gonna happen. Because, like, what I read is that it says in one room, but it's just said again and again. If she were to stab him again and again, then that would increase the wound in one single area, right? But you couldn't have witnessed that. Are you testing me? Then I'll test you. With my moss surprise. I'm afraid that moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Star. What do you mean? I shouldn't have to explain this, but take a look. The autopsy report states the death was due to a loss of blood from one stab wound. Aha, you're right. Good show, Mr. Edgeworth.
What a hunk! He's my hero, really.
What about my objection? No one noticed? Well, witness?
You got the crime scene set, right?
Oh, thanks.
I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now I realize that such mistakes are possible.
So, you're saying you mistook something for blood?
When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. She splattered blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice.
Well, tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify!
Alrighty then. Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly. What's a muffler? Her red muffler? Yes, like a scarf. The chief prosecutor always wears one around her neck. So she can be easily hanged at the moment's notice, I suppose. She's right. This guy was wearing a red scarf, wasn't she? But wait, isn't it odd that you mistook that for splattered blood?
Well, people often make mistakes with my beard. Or a bib.
Really? A judge with a bib? That's why this place feels so much like kindergarten sometimes. Actually, I do think I saw some traces of blood on her chest.
However, the autopsy report is clear on this small matter. There was only one knife wound.
Apparently, Miss Starr isn't entirely sure of her own testimony. Mr. Wright, this is our chance. Chance for what, I wonder? Miss Starr has turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Challenging her abilities as a detective really set her off. The short wick burns at the fastest. It's a scientific fact. I wonder, wouldn't it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, add more wax and even a really short wick will burn longer. Can we please? Oh my god. Obviously, more scientific testing is required.
Let's see. Looks like a red blood to me. How does it look like a red blood? Was she wearing the muffler at that time? Yo! There is no muffler in this picture. You can hardly see it, but let's try it. Yes!
Miss Starr, I demand an explanation.
The witness is clearly not suited for detective work.
What?
The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler or any kind when she stabbed the victim. You're taking our words. You've proven yourself with this photograph.
Huh? But that can't be.
Only a true professional could be so clueless. I'm sure you'll make a good lunch lady, have no fear. Harsh words, but good.
Yeah, Mr. Edward prevails. What was my objection, chopped liver? But it was there, a scarf. No, not that, but something red, really.
Well now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude. Now back to business.
What?
Very well, witness, continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that.
Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least. Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony. The most important part? The part where your sister stabs the victim. The next testimony might just be the moment of truth. Apprehending the suspect. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind the partition off to her side. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's why I had me confused in my early testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile. Alrighty then, we're getting close.
You're quite determined about the scarf, aren't you?
I strike like a snake and I bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Star.
That wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is kind of a snake.
Don't bother me with details unless you want to get bitten.
No thanks.
Note to self, Attorney Wright gets bitten by snake. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, knocked over in an oil drum.
Oil drum? Hard to imagine.
Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one, a leopard woman. Wow!
Very well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination if you will. Alrighty then. Apprehending the suspect. Here we go. After the murder, suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. So where is this partition on the floor plans? I'm sure she means this wall next to the car. That's right. There was a wall there, about 6 feet high.
She was obviously trying to hide herself. Quite a natural thing for a criminal to do.
And what did you do then? I just love this thing. We're getting close to the end of this episode. You say quickly, were you close to the suspect?
As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time.
Huh.
Maybe I should press her for more details. I like to see this on the floor plans, just to be safe. The Lunchland car was... She was a visitor, thus she was parked in B block. So you witnessed the murder from here. That would make it about 30 feet from the car, yes. Is that correct, Miss Starr? Yes, that's right. But there was a chain linked and fence in front of you. I went over it, of course. Amazing, the car of Queen Lunchley, athlete indeed. It would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence. So she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast. Yeah, that fence was about 9 feet high too. How come this guy didn't get away? Why? Just to get caught? She mentioned the muffler? What exactly did she say? If I remember exactly, I would have told you in my testimony. Cheeky! Anyway, all I heard her say was the word muffler. So just that one word? Is she referring to his car? The car muffler? So what you heard wasn't a suspect talking to you, but to someone else? Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone. Her phone? You mean this cell phone? By phone, do you mean this cell phone discovered at the crime scene? Yes, ultimately. Ultimately? My memory. It's like a salmon heading upstream, you see. That's a bad reference. No, the court doesn't see Miss Starr. The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall. On the wall? That's right. That's right, near the car, I didn't even see that. There was an emergency phone on the wall. Apparently it was out of order. And so she used her cell phone. Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order that day. Good witnessing, witness. Good witnessing? Whatever happened to good testifying? You should of course add this to your testimony. The things I do to please the rookie defense attorney. Cell phone updated in the court record. Do you think you could restate your testimony for this court? I was going to ask the same thing. I only say this one time, so listen close, rookies. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. Her name is Lana Sky. What's the K? Oh, the killer, okay. She then picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. So she pulled her own cell phone out of pocket. Well, that's impossible because we found the phone somewhere else. And during that time, you climbed over the fence, over the chain link fence. Then, when I boldly grabbed her arm, the chief prosecutor hung up her phone. And you saw her doing this? What is it, Mr. Wright? She made to escape. Can you be more specific? She brushed aside my hand and ran. It was a terrible sight to see, like a dollop of lard on a pat of foyer grass. I don't know what that. I have no idea what she's saying. She even kicked over an oil drum at me. An oil drum? There was an oil drum lying on its side at the scene of the crime. Oh, that's strange. Huh? What's that? If she wanted to escape, why didn't she run the other way? The other? The car entrance. That's right. It doesn't make any sense that she would run from the behind. I'm getting running water. Behind the partition of the oil drums. Excellent. More mysteries. I wish we would solve a few more. Finding more though. So Miss Sky tried to run. I'm sorry my sister is so suspicious, Mr. Wright. As sorry as I am. But she didn't do it. You have to believe me. After the time of the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a petition to offer her side. Oh, never mind. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Star versus futile. Yeah, that's right there. Arrested her, mentioned muffler. She gave up trying to use the phone on the wall and just use her cell phone. But what was the reason? The word muffler was overheard during a phone call made to Emma. Parking lot. What was the reason? I got nothing. The only thing I can think of is just the phone. Let's try this again. Do you think you can restate your testimony? Okay. So the killer went to the telephone. Out of order. She pulled her own cell phone out of her pocket, but the location of the phone is where it was right over here. It was over here and it was knocked out here? Oh, I could just do that. I didn't know. Because we found this. Yo, it has to be the ID or the phone. Let me look it up. Okay, because the partition. If Angel had the witness, if you press her stand, she will detail what she saw. Yes, that should be right. Let's try this. Objection! I was thinking the phone. I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Sky. Objection! The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Well, who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago. Well, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this? Huh, I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me and I'll make you cough it all up. Let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. Oh, that's right. There's a wall. However, that's true. You couldn't possibly have seen Miss Sky making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. That emergency phone was on the back side of the partition. If indeed you were in B block, you could have seen it. What? Ah! Order! Order! What is the meaning of this? It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch, she's coughing up lies. That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you'll allow me to question. Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told the court. Here's where the counterattack begins. I can't afford to get this wrong. The witness lied about what she saw, where she saw, the order of events. Let's see. Where she saw it. She tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. It would be pointless for her to lie about it. Pointless to lie? I see. The witness did actually see Miss Sky using the emergency phone. In other words, this Star witnessed the crime from a different location. A different location? Now that's pointless, if I have ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it.
Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime?
All the testimony we've heard until now points in one direction. The place where Scott witnessed the crime was here. It had to be the security, right? This is the only place where she could have been.
A security guard room? Indeed, a security room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. It's built on the second level, so you can see the entire lot. She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. Well, right there are many other places where she could have seen the phone.
Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness not being part of the prosecutor's office could have parked in A block. The only place where she would have seen the crime in the back of the partition is here. I remember in your testimony you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Well, Miss Starr, how many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could be turned. Today a man has got the better of Angel Starr.
Order! Order! Witness! What have you done? You have used to be a detective. You should know better.
I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished, and I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. The guilty? Is she talking about Miss Guy? Now, Mr. Wright, doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Starr lie? It doesn't make sense. Huh? She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything.
Exactly. This photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. The truth still stands.
Objection!
But who took it? It still stands. I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth.
What?
If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason.
So tell us, what was her reason, Mr. Wright?
Huh? Me?
Who else?
Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Miss Starr witnessed the crime from the security guard station. But she lied and said she saw it from B block. It must be a vital difference, but what? What would change? Angle of view of the crime? The angle of the view of the crime? It makes me think that Lana was in the opposite side. And she was in A, so they switched. Angle of view to the crime, difference in light. It has to be the angle of view. It has to be angle of view. Right there. Let me see. Distance to the crime. What the heck? It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime.
Objection!
My condolences, Mr. Wright. Well, one look at the floor plans and it's quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see.
Objection!
What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the crime scene of the scene of the crime. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Sky?
Well, witness?
You. Yes? You ordered the squid wheels, right? Quality of my lunches have gone from low to inedible. It was bringing a PB&J lunch with my fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend.
Huh? Boysenberry for the boyfriend?
He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass wall station. And before I knew that I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it.
You had to. What did she do?
Oh, what the heck?
That would make sense.
That's why I had to go through the visitors parking in Part B block.
That's quite a detour.
It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime.
5 minutes. This changes things considerably.
But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear on my finest plastic spork.
You have a point, and a spork is a wonderful invention.
Would you like another caviar lunch?
Absolutely.
Uh-oh. Mr. Wright, you have to do something.
Do I have any evidence to stop this? 5 minutes between the witnessing of the murder and the arrest? Think about it. You can make pasta in that amount of time, if you like it al dente.
I got a lunch spec that Thai pasta into knots, Rookie.
5 minutes blank. Isn't that strange?
Strange.
If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor? Run.
I guess I flee the scene. Hey! Don't get the wrong idea, I didn't kill anyone.
But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run, but this time was different. Miss Guy dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had a picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable.
Well then, it seems we come to the end of this testimony. She has a grudge against the defendant and there is a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edward, is the next witness ready to go?
There's another? Oh, great.
Unfortunately, I appear to have underestimated the witness on the account of her professional history.
We did it! We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright.
That was too close.
I'm afraid that the cough of Queen has been dethroned, and with that, court is adjourned.
Hold it!
Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right?
That's the one she tried to foist off on me.
I prefer to not take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say?
I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence.
What was that?
Is this another one of her trick lunchboxes?
My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr.
Ah. Is this your jumbo lunchbox?
Woo-hoo! A triple-decker! Out of the deference to the witness determination, I'll allow one more testimony. Let's hear about this decisive evidence.
Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed.
What she's going to pull out of her lunchbox this time. We'll keep going. We'll make it to an hour if must.
I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now,
What's this?
to the matter of the victim's shoe, did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found in the shoe. One was the course of the victim's, and the other was defendant Miss Lana Sky's blood. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence.
What? There was blood found on that shoe?
Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs.
Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I heard of this evidence?
Simple. As I've already said, I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself.
And you had blood tests performed?
Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensic.
In any case, Your Honor, I can accept this as evidence.
What?
You should know the 2 rules of evidence law, Miss Starr. Rule number 1. The evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, the shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being.
Is that right, Mr. Wright?
It seems so. Edward sure is celebrating.
Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective, as I mentioned previously. This shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Is that right, Mr. Wright?
It seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty sullen.
You could at least study some evidence law, really.
The prosecution complaints notwithstanding, it appears that the evidence identifies the first rule of evidence law. Well, since you have yet another court count against your witness,
I think to ensure the guilty are properly judged.
Shoe added to the court record. Wabaki.
Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
What is there for me to do?
Should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now to the matter of the victim's shoe, did I not bring this up?
There are only like 3 steps. Press against the 5th statement. 2, 3, 4. Let's try and make this fast.
I can't let this evidence go through without a fight. You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Someone like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. She's in enough hot water to make a whole batch of soup. Mr. Wright, do you or don't you have a problem with the shoe?
A problem? This is critical. What's wrong with the victim's shoe? There's a problem? If I'm not imagining things, I say there is one critical problem with the evidence. A clear contradiction.
That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, rookie. I give you a pepper fish gut now. But you couldn't take the heat, could you?
Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is the contradictory about the victim's shoe?
Alrighty then. Hey, it's the forensic science again. Blood stains on the bottom heel? Hold up. It's definitely a right-handed shoe. The bottom foot, right? Rotate it so you can see the bottom. So yeah, there is that. I wonder if you notice, there's blood on the bottom of this shoe.
Don't mess with me, rookie. Or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe.
Indeed there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe. It makes sense, the victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about the blood on the bottom of his shoe?
What could possibly be a contradictory about the blood on the bottom of his shoe? X. Crime photo. The problem lies in the footprint.
The footprint?
Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't any bloody footprints found by the scene of the crime? As you can see, there were no traces of any other such footprints at the crime scene. That contradicts your claim about the shoe.
This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints.
If there were bloody prints, they would have been found. We checked the scene and found nothing of the sort.
Order! Well, witness?
Great going, Mr. Wright, but it's true that the lack of footprint is a contradiction. But then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint.
Oh,
That's true, there has to be a reason why there wasn't.
Think, Mr. Wright, think. Hey, I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions. What?
I see. Now I get it.
Get what?
Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slid. There is one vital hint to the truth in her testimony. She forged it? What are you talking about? Think back to what she told us about apprehending the suspect.
The chief prosecutor tried to resist. She knocked my... The oil drum! That's why there is blood?
I thought that was a strange thing for a normally cool-headed chief to do.
No kidding.
Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty?
Oh, that... I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory.
Witness, well, was the oil drum empty?
The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water.
Water? What does that mean? Still don't get it, Mr. Wright. Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over, the real reason? Oh, you don't mean... Yes, the suspect knocked over the oil drum for one reason alone. Now, to erase the blood stains that would have become evidence against her. That ties things up quite nicely. The bloodstains left in the victim's shoe entire quite clear to this murder. But after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs.
Why, that's a prosecutor's specialty. Erasing evidence. That reminds me, this guy's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she cut herself when she stabbed him? So my sister's blood on the shoe? That's when it happened?
Well, does she no reason to prolong this trial?
Mr. Wright, do something, please!
What? What can I do?
Your sister has confessed to the crime and she has tried to conceal it. But...
Enough! There is no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor. Very well.
But Angel Star is on the prosecution side. She could have been lying about the water.
This court finds the defendant Miss Lana Sky.
Huh? Hold it! That was slow. Little girl, what did you just say? Huh? Me? Did you say that I, Angel Star, was on the prosecution side? Well, yeah, you are. You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well... I thought you had your fill, but here you are demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox, a lunch call... evidence.
Wait, witness, don't tell me you have something else. You've reached your verdict, Your Honor. Any further comments will be held on contempt in court.
Your threats don't scare the cough-up queen. Look at this.
Great! A photograph?
I had just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe did belong to the victim.
I thought we were talking about... Never mind. I see no room for error in this evidence.
Mr. Wright, wait, look at the asphalt in this.
Hey, it's clearly wet. Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind. Immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all.
It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the beginning. And it seems this is what your sister wanted anyway. I'm sorry, Mia. Wet or not?
Don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Get yourself up with the asphalt. Take another good look. Don't give up. Not until the bitter end. This is the last piece of evidence.
Very well, this time I'd like to declare a verdict for good.
That was slow.
Your Honor, wait. What is it with you people? Can't I hand down my verdicts in peace anymore? Whatever it is, can it wait?
No, it can't. Then it will be too late. Look at this photograph, the last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence proper consideration.
So, right? Are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence?
Yeah, I'll think later. Yeah, there's a problem. Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this.
I suppose since we come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. Very well, Mr. Wright?
Show the court the problem in this photograph. It would have to be the freaking shoe. And the water, right? That's the only explanation? Because I don't see anything else. The muffler. What's in the muffler? You can also see the asphalt. Present. Look closely at the muffler. And we're... The problem in this photograph is here.
What's this? There's something poking out the car's muffler. Wait just a moment, Mr. Edgeworth. Your Honor, you just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or scarf of any kind in this photograph. A muffler is also a part of on a car or a motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as a part of the exhaust system, a pipe. I see, and I see. What's that suspicious looking claw sticking out of the car's muffler?
So what if there's something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with the case? Nothing, absolutely nothing. Sorry, Miss Starr, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you've already told us why it's important to this case. You said as much in your testimony. What?
Let us hear what Mr. Wright has on his mind. Tell us why you think this piece of cloth is the muffler is related to this case.
Okay. Take that! Miss Starr, recall your testimony for the court. Ah, yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned a muffler. Muffler? Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means the piece of cloth is vital evidence. She's done.
Well, it seems we will have to suspend the proceedings.
Suspend?
I find myself wondering about the piece of cloth. If we leave any question unanswered here, we do a disservice to the law. If the car at the crime scene inspected at once and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed? I suppose so.
Phew. That was close. But we made it. At least, for now.
The court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime after all.
He's still hungry? And with that, we'll end today's episode right here, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to hit that like button, comments, comments if you're new. If you're like a subscribe, the struck is like Steve, and I'm saying out.